will not be dishonest with you. We're going to have to win about 65% of the remaining votes. Is it possible? Yeah. It is a very hard fight, but we're going to wage that fight. Look, when I began this campaign a year ago, we were at 3% in the polls. We have come a long way, and we're going to fight for every last vote, and we're going to try to win the pledged delegate majority.
And if I know you've talked about this a lot, but I feel like I've got sort of two different answers in mind, and I'm not sure what your plan is now. If you don't have a pledged delegate majority on June 14th, which is D.C., is that a time when you would assess and potentially wrap up your campaign, make a decision about what you do with regard to Secretary Clinton, or would you not assess on that day and go to the convention?
We're going to the convention. Look,
even without a majority?
Absolutely. Look, if we do not win the majority of pledged delegates, if we do not win the nomination, we will go into the convention with, who knows, 45, 48, 49% of the pledged delegates. Those are the real delegates that people voted for. And if that happens, we're going to wage a very vigorous fight at the convention for a progressive agenda, which says that the United States should join every other major country in guaranteeing health care to all people, paid family and medical leave to working families, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, being really vigorous in combating climate change, including a tax on carbon, making public colleges and universities tuition-free. That's the agenda that millions of people have supported. And if we end up with 48, 49% of the pledged votes, I think we can win those fights on the floor of the convention.
In terms of getting that into the Democratic Party platform, I don't know what's in the Democratic Party platform now. And the reason I don't feel guilty about that is because I feel like the platform of the party is something that doesn't have a shelf life much beyond the convention. It doesn't feel like a binding
The answer is yes and no. I mean, that's certainly true. No one thinks that a Democratic president is going to abide by every word in the Democratic platform. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it does say something. It does reflect what the base of the Democratic Party believes should be the future of this country. And I intend to do everything that I can to make that the most progressive document that we possibly can. And I think, by the way, that is the document that the Democratic grassroots people really want to see.
You wrote a letter to the DNC chair today, basically saying that you feel like you are being underrepresented in some key committees.
That's not what I feel. I mean, that is the objective fact. I think she selected 3 of our delegates, and I believe the total number is 60 there. What we want is a fair representation at the convention. We want our people to be in a position to help shape the document of the the platform of the Democratic Party. When we have 3 delegates and Clinton and the Democratic establishment have far, far more than that, that is simply unfair. We don't accept that.
And you're sort of the or else that went with this argument in your letter to the DNC chair basically said that if you aren't treated fairly, you will demand extensive and as many as necessary floor votes and a floor fight.
We will use the rules of the Democratic convention to make certain that there is a vigorous debate on the important issues facing the American people. All we are asking for here is fairness, not to have the deck stacked against us. So far, the deck is outrageously stacked against us. So again, if I end up with 45 or 50% of the pledged delegates, we want 45 or 50% of people, our people, to be on the key committees. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable request.
And the kind of fight that you're talking about, though, in that circumstance, is over who gets the nomination or is over who gets the platform?
Well, if we don't have the votes to get the nomination, we're not going to get the nomination. That becomes then the platform fight.
That becomes the platform fight. When Senator Sanders' campaign today sent a letter to the Democratic Party threatening a floor fight at the convention, that set a lot of hair on fire in Democratic circles. But the senator tells me today that the floor fight he is promising will be over the platform, not over who gets the Democratic presidential nomination. But turns out there's a but. That's next. And a lot more besides.
Whatever.